Hmm. 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 Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another After Hours with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director and Head Containment Specialist here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for nearly 8 months and continuing on, the daily streak remains strong. I am here to open my office doors to you, the Foundation staff, to answer your burning queries about the inner workings of this mysterious and dark place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them quite rudely, I will also point out, and of course, hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview. Perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, I am here for the next, let's say, 90 minutes, 2 hours if we're feeling zesty. But before we begin the standard Q&A that happens on these streams, let me begin by saying, Avari. Congratulations on being the most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. Congratulations on being first chatter. Furthermore, Game 1 Peeps, Dr. Frogman, Dr. Puppeteer, XL Official, Just a Factory America, Raccoon Dog, Hunter Parker, Amber, Dark Duality, Aoki. Anyone else? Anyone else? Notorious Gaming. Everyone whomst I have just named, thank you for being here quite punctually today. And thank you for being members of Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, Zita, Joey Smith, 049, Grand Reaper, and Scarlet Fox. Welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being punctual and thank you for being here, just for being you today. Now, before we get into the standard Q&A as well as this dono, let me handle a couple pieces of the stream subject. The stream subject is broken into 2 sections today, as is the thumbnail, because I have 2 thoughts. I know, more than one thought inside my head. What a world we live in. So, first of all, the FNAF 2 movie, not bad. Not bad. Last time there was a FNAF movie, I went to go see it in theaters. No one went with me because no one is interested in niche internet horror the way that I am. I am not a FNAF player, but I have watched playthroughs several times. Markiplier, Matt Paddle, them, theories everywhere. I am watching the FNAF theorist community because they are a particularly kind of insane, a particularly potent kind of insane. I'm not going to spoil anything in the movie. I'm just going to say that when there was the first movie, I went and saw it, and I had mixed thoughts. First of all, both movies, Jim Henson Creature Shop, are the real MVPs. Those animatronics look so good. Can't complain. Practical robots, yes. That is the thing. Hell yeah, all the time. The production value on the Freddy Fazbear's Restaurant set design, so magnifique. Watching the first movie, the story, I'm just kind of like, this is weird and meandering. And although I have respect for what you're trying, it doesn't feel like it's working. If you go back into my Twitter from FNAF 1 movie, I was very mixed feelings then. And I will say, I'm not saying this is a great movie. I'm saying it is an improvement. I'm saying they did a better job making a horror movie with the second one. I don't know if it was good or not, but what I will say is I enjoyed myself more with the second movie than I did with the first. And that is an achievement. Honestly, you usually see the start and then a decline, but it looks like they did better. Avari, I'm going to tell you this. couldn't tell it was MatPat. I actually looked it up in the credits again to make sure. But yes, they digitized the voice in such a manner that I couldn't tell it was MatPat. But they sounded fine. So, that was interesting. I literally just got home from watching it because, you know, as an SCP researcher on the internet, I've got to be keeping an eye on all of the other anomalous properties. Both because there are anomalies everywhere. First of all, my containment videos from the past are screwed now because now they can leave the facility. It used to be so easy because they never left the frickin' pizzerias. But now they can leave. And so all of my containment procedures out the window. It's fricking rude, is what it is. You're changing the lore on me. You're messing with my conprox. I will have your head, Mr. Cawthon. Second of all, the title has 2 themes and 2 thumbnails today. And the second title is, It's Only One Website. So, what does that mean? What it means is I have a question for you. This is from content creator and streamer to containment hazard assessment team and chat. When I ask you this question, how difficult is it for you to find an SCP document? How hard is it for you to find an SCP document? If you have a number, I don't know, let's say SCP-9592. If I tell you to look up SCP-9592, the black marker, are you able to find that? Do you have the skills, the wherewithal to find the SCP document on the SCP Wiki, the only website for SCP documents? Okay, so here's the deal. I am a lazy, crotchety old man today. This is my kids used to have more determination than they used to back in the day rant. Because on our stream regarding Plague PJP's wonderful SCP-9592, codename The Magic Marker. It's not the black marker, I need to keep remembering. It's the magic marker. Someone commented in a rather grumpy tone with me. Why didn't you share a link in the description? Now I have to go search for it. And you know what? On one hand, if you're adapting an SCP, then you have to follow the Creative Commons, which means you have to share it, you have to link it, you have to acknowledge the author. You need to do all those things if you're adapting the SCP. That is true. That is Creative Commons. We love that. We hold people to account for that. But if you're just talking about it on stream, and especially if you're talking about 90 different SCPs throughout a stream, it's hard to keep track of what SCPs we all talk about, let alone linking them all. And maybe I am just lazy. Maybe. But when they said, now I have to search for it myself, I went, but there's only one website, the SCP Wiki. And I said the number 1,000 times, SCP-9592, because I was reading the document for SCP-9592, and I kept saying it. So can you find SCP-9592 on the SCP database? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a lazy and crotchety old man. But I don't think Google searching SCP in 4 numbers is that hard. But I am also in charge of this site, and when someone is insubordinate, I will be salty about it. I think you're all familiar with this. There's also the fandom wiki, but I don't think anyone uses that. Hunter Parker, I hope I hope that you are correct and that no one is using the Fandom Wiki SCP entries. Woof. But yes, perhaps it would be useful if we had a compilation of every SCP we mentioned with links that ended up in the description or a pinned comment. I can see how that would be a beneficial and nice thing to do. Labor intensive, depending on how long we stream that day and how many SCPs we go through. I can see that. But I am not human. I am in fact very human. And when people tell me I'm wrong about things, it makes me angry just like everybody else. It's not about being told you're wrong. It just tricks your brain into being angry. And that explains all of politics worldwide, actually, now that I think about it. So yes, I can see the benefit. I can see where it would be helpful. But also, you can't Google an SCP number and find it on the one website for SCP stories. It's not like there's many. There's just one SCP wiki. If you want to get convoluted, you could say the foreign language branches. You could say that there's international branches, and you could have to search with the... But those have their designation in there. SCP blank 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 dash JP or dash CN. They have designation numbers too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a grumpy old site director, and I've been working for too many years, but I just want people to put in some effort. The reason I say I want them to put in some effort is because it's the same problem when people want to write SCPs, which is they don't want to put in the effort to write them. And so that's the reason the SCP Wiki has a convoluted application process to weed out the lazy. And then that's why the Site42 Discord server has a convoluted entry process to weed out the lazy, so that we only get people who are willing to venture forth with determination and do the work. I don't know. Is there a reason you're using the desk voice? Lol. Desk, I am sorry that in my head, my crotchety old man voice is the desk voice. I didn't put that together till now, and I'm sorry. Oh boy. Oh boy. So yes, long story short, too late. FNAF Movie 2, better than the first, at least in my opinion. I'm not going to say it's good or great. I am going to say I enjoyed it more than the first one. Secondly, there's one Garam website for SCPs. It is scpwiki.wiki.com, and its international branches. If you want to find the SCP, Google it and go to the right website. It's not that difficult. But also, we should probably work out a linking process. Perhaps I'll do a thing where I find someone to take notes of every SCP we mention and compile links, and we can put that in the pinned comment. I will pin their comment every stream for that. And that will be the bibliography of the stream. Because, you know, if you share the, if you adapt the story, you have to credit it. But if you're just talking fair use, then it doesn't matter. I'm getting distracted again. So yes, end of the day, that's what's on my mind today. Very short. Welcome to the stream. I am here to answer your queries about the SCP Foundation for the next, I would say, 75 minutes. And maybe more. We shall see. SC Pixels, I'm guessing it's not to be used. I've never been on it. I just learned about it from Markiplier. Joey Smith, I am confused. What do you mean SCP Pixels learned about it from Markiplier? What does that mean? I'm very confused. I am prepping to find a theater to watch Markiplier's upcoming film, Iron Lung. Because FNAF, I go and watch it because it's an indie project being picked up by a studio like Blumhouse Productions. And so seeing how they make that movie and what they do with it interests me as someone who wants to see SCP movies happen. I'm going to do the same thing when A24 comes out with its Backrooms movie. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see how they're doing it. I want to see how we can take that in a new direction for SCP. But then, Markiplier's Iron Lung is kind of like the example here, because it's the YouTuber just full-on financing the film and doing it live. And so that's even more independent than using the studio system. So, seeing what all of these different troupes do, adapting these internet horror properties into film, ignoring the Slender Man movie, oh dear God. And we can see what's going on. I've talked to America. SCP Pixels, the 8-bit website. I see. Yeah, no, they were just making 8-bit pictures of all the SCPs. I have seen that before. Cool little project. I wish it just got ramped up and fully fleshed out. In your opinion, what's the best place to be seen in the theater? Unnamed cosplays, I like to be. Usually it's the first row above the wheelchair seating. That way I have a footrest, the nice iron bar footrest. And then I like to be on the aisle. I'm an aisle seater. I know the center of the screen has better view of the whole screen. In fact, I think I barely missed, if not barely spotted, the Shadow Bonnie Easter egg in the movie, because I was seated on the right side of the screen, and I believe it happened on the left side, and I barely spot it. So yes, I'm a heathen. I like aisle seats. There's a Slender Man movie. XL Official Games? No. No, there's not. Just don't, man. Just don't. Ooh. We are 10 more likes and views. Oh, we are already likes above viewers. Partially because we're in a shy viewer window right now. It seems like we are in the quiet times, but that's fine. Furthermore, it doesn't matter. The algorithm still likes when you hit that like button and get it above the viewer count. It brings us more people. So good work, Mobile Task Force Psi-42. Codename Sigma Boosters. The more likes we get, the more YouTube gives us more people. Those viewer numbers go up, the sub numbers go up, and the SCP community at least gets a little more support from us where we can. We're doing our best. Dark Duality, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Oh, you're Dark Duality SCP now. Name upgrade, I see. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a big old popcorn on your way past the commissary. Do I also need a sandbox for posting art to the wiki? I'm going to be honest, Dark Duality. I don't know a lot about art pages on the SCP Wiki. I am not an artist. What you should do is you should find other people's art pages and maybe talk to them, see what their see what the rule for art pages is on the wiki. There are rules for it. I'm sure there are. In fact, that I can just look up. I don't think you need a sandbox for art pages because you're going to make the art off-site. So you're not like drafting an article and using the sandbox to help your formatting in that case. SCP art page rules. How to post your art to the SCP Wiki. Dark Duality, I am dropping you this link into the chat. This page is how to post art on the SCP Wiki. And so there, you will find a bunch of the intel you need. Next up, I saw a Ko-Fi notification. Let me get that so I don't forget it exists. Chesta Factory, thank you for your monthly Ko-Fi donation that came in. I think you're in the chat, so thank you while you're here. Much obliged for doing a monthly Ko-Fi. It's like Patreon, but on Ko-Fi. And it has less fees than YouTube Super Chats, so thank you for your generosity. Grab yourself a pack of red vines on your way past the commissary. And Dr. Dark Star, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Chesta Factory, thank you for being a member too. I don't know if I said that or not. And Dr. Dark Star, grab yourself a hot pretzel on your way past the commissary. Hey, Doc, just made a stream. Haven't seen FNAF 2 movie yet. Hear what you thought about it. Excited to see it on Thursday. Yeah, I think, as I said, it's better than the first one. And so, definitely an improvement on the structure of the story. I am looking forward to the third one based on what I've seen. I mean, again, it's my interest in niche internet horror above anything else that's keeping me on board. The movies are fine, but I hear that the audiences are really liking them for the fans, for the Easter eggs, stuff like that. It's interesting stuff. Refreshing the chat, coming back. America, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a hot dog on your way past the commissary. Another successful stream. I hope you get the chance to join me on stream tomorrow. I'm working on my SCP-1776H document. It'll be on my channel. Well, this is smarter than last time, which was advertising your stream in the chat of an already active stream, because going against someone that everyone's already watching is not a great idea. If you're trying to use the same audience that I'm using, it would be better to stream when I'm not streaming. That's just commonsensical. I don't think advertising your stream through Super Chats is a great idea. It doesn't feel ethical for some reason. Because it feels like you're making me shill for your stream. And it costs a lot more than £5 to get a Dr. Sherman endorsement. So just keep an eye on that. It's not the end of the world. As I said, I'm not mad. If anything, I'm trying to give you tips to improve your advertising game so that you can improve as a content creator. Because reminder, everyone, if you want to get into the content creation game, yes, you have to be able to make good content. But you also have to be your own cameraman, your own lighting, your own sound guy, your own marketer. And so there's a lot of ways to market, and there's a lot of ways that aren't good ways to learn to market. But if you're going to be a content creator, you got to be all of the above and more. So it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. I want you all to create art. I want you all writing SCPs, drawing art for Fan Art Friday or for your own projects. I want you to get so good at art that you get hired to do art and get paid for it if you want to. Or you can just have a really fun hobby and make beautiful things and make the world a better place. And so this is a learning ground for everybody. Nikki Knackle, time check. We are currently 25 minutes into what will be a 90-minute to 2-hour stream. We'll see how it goes. Patron the artist, I say. Bring that back. Sir Andrew Agushek, I agree completely. Is that how we pronounce your name? I have a note here. Or actually, Des gave me a note here of what you said the other day. And so I'm going back to check that to be sure. Agucheek. 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 I'm going to get used to that. Sir Andrew Agucheek. We'll work on it. We'll workshop it. But yes, Patreon is a wonderful app because it is patron of the arts. I highly recommend all of you. Don't just become a patron of me. Become a patron of all the creators you enjoy. Just a little bit. $1 to $5 a month. Now that the economy's getting really bad, $5 a month might be better. But if you can give a little bit to your favorite creators and then everybody does that, that is an ethical pyramid scheme. Instead of getting promised you will get wealth in a scam, you are instead supporting a creator as one of many, and that creator gets to make their art. It's great stuff. So, Yes, that is highly recommended to everybody to work the culture in that direction. It would take 125 Mafia goons to pay for an SCP site. Well, Mafia goons, the goons don't actually get paid that well. It's the boss who keeps the money. Again, capitalism at play. So the goons themselves, you probably need a lot more goons to fund an SCP site. I'm just guessing. The best description of Patreon ever, ethical pyramid scheme. Hell yeah. Wait, I'm the muscle around here. Dr. Sherman, does that make me a goon? As a matter of fact, yes, Desk, you are my hired goon. That is a quite apt description. Hello, Director, did you make the tree scream? Intern Dark, well, someone did. It wasn't me, unfortunately. But if you read the... Hold on. Prepare yourself. SCP 729 J. Document. There is now a test where the trees have screamed. Or the tree singular, because SCP-4521. But I wasn't there. And so, the quest continues in the multiverse to find more iterations of SCP-4521, whether the Foundation contains them, whether they're still out in the wild, whether another group of interest has gathered them. We will find those trees, and we shall too make them scream. Every 4521 instance will scream in a choir of multiversal harmonics that will bring heaven to all who reside within the multiverse. I think it'll work. Notorious Gaming, thank you for your 2-month member messages of Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site 42. Grab yourself a hot link on your way past the commissary. Evening, Doc. Nice shirt. Well, thank you kindly. Also, how's the lovely 7-2? 9 SJ. Oh. Screw you. I just talked about that thing. Lovely. Lovely, this schmuck says. Lovely. Confetti the Clown. Desk is going to drop a link to the rules of Fan Art Friday. The rules to Fan Art Friday include our fan art email. So read the submission rules and follow them, and submit your fan art that way. You can also just randomly drop fan art in the fan art channel of the Site 42 Discord. I peek at that from time to time. And this also goes as a reminder to everyone in chat. We have a blue name by the moderation handle, The Desk of Alto Clef. If you see a blue name talk in the chat, you better listen. Because if you miss the fact that you are being called out for breaking rules, it is not our fault if you get banned by The Desk. Raccoon Dog, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a creme soda on your way past the commissary. Hey, Doc, directing the site or sightly directing? Well, I do believe with my very fine hair coloring and rugged charm that I could be quite the sightly sight while directing. I do agree. My evil and sexy plans are still moving forward while directing the site. All of the above, my friend. All of the above. Thank you for calling me an intern with my old question a day ago, Director, but I must ask, what intern do you say I am, sir? Researcher or even security personnel? Intern Dark. Interns are, in fact, interns. Coffee gophers. Cleanup crew. The interns are low-level personnel who will eventually become researchers and or security personnel with proper education and training. So, pay attention in your academy classes. Mr. Liu, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Doc, would devil fruits and devil fruit users be considered anomalous if they existed? Intern Hodgson, what do you think? Do you think a fruit that, if eaten, makes you denser than water and therefore will be unable to swim, but also grants you phenomenal powers in a randomized manner? Does that seem anomalous to you? Is that something you really had to ask about? This is why I do these office hours, to teach you interns the way. What's your art email? XL Official Games. Watch out for Desk. Desk is going to share that link again. The link has the rules and it has the email. Do tales need to be greenlit like articles do? Amber, excellent question. Excellent question. So, the answer is that anything you write on the wiki should be greenlit, but the greenlight process is only for first-time authors. If you are a first-time author, it is highly recommended that you go through the greenlight process to make sure that your writings are going to fall in line with the standards of the SCP community. But once you are an established author, articles and tales don't need to be greenlit at all. So I hope that answers your question. Terragal, welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Grab a brew on your way past the commissary. Though it doesn't matter how long you've been writing, get crit, then get more crit, and then maybe another one. Oh, especially for new authors, 3 rounds of crit should be the baseline starting. Usually it takes 4 or 5 or 7 rounds. Cadet Samuel asks, do you have a Discord? We do, in fact, but much like the SCP Wiki, it's a bit of an Easter egg hunt. You got to prove your worth to find the link and get invited. You must also be over the age of 18, because we are an adult website that deals with gratuitous violence and sexuality in equal measure. So, well, not equal. There's a lot more violence than there is sexuality. Either way, adult themes means adults only. So, if you are of age and you can find the Discord link, then you can join. Notorious Gaming, thank you for donating again. Or thank you for donating for the first time, as well as your membership. Grab some nachos on your way past the commissary. Out of character. So Doc finally started the SCP D&D campaign. Everyone I play with is loving, and one of them decided to keep 729. Dusty. As a pet. Oh, that's disgusting. It's Dr. Hessen all over again. Your players are weird, man. Your players are weird. One of the things that happened in my D&D campaign, or I should say it was a fake campaign of the Dresden Files tabletop role-playing game, is I did an SCP section. It was a 2-year game, weekly, and so we went through storylines and chapters. And I did an SCP chapter, and I put SCP-1048, otherwise known as Builder Bear, into the campaign as one of the escaped anomalies. And one of my characters opened a door and found a cuddly teddy bear sitting on the ground. And they immediately opened fire. And I threw up a big, "Oh no, you shot the cuddly teddy bear, you monster!" And then I walked them into another room. I gave them a fate point and said, "Good job, that thing was going to fuck you up real bad." Yes, SCPs can be a very fun gaming situation. Holy shit, it's the SCP guy from 2021. Intern Brent, give me a break. I am still in 2025, as are you. This is the year 2025, and you're still here, and so am I. Would SCP-173 be able to get back up if he fell? Intern Ganyan. First of all, SCP-173 is a sculpture, a statue. It is not a person. It is an object, as are all anomalies, by the way. It's not a he. It's an it. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Furthermore, my hypothesis is if we lean SCP-173 down on its front, then it, instead of cracking necks when you blink, it becomes a kneecap missile. So, not a great plan. As a reminder, staff, SCPs are objects. Using he/she pronouns can lead to attachments, which could lead to containment breaches. Damn right, intern Tiger Claws. Damn right. Do not get attached to the anomalies. They are not friends. They are objects in containment. I mean, you saw nothing. Intern Malachi, we had this discussion about the Scarlet King versus Gate Guardian on yesterday's stream, as well as the video that we posted yesterday. So go check those out for intel on your question. So as the O4 Council met, I still want to start tests on the mini fridges. Researcher last, unfortunately, they keep putting off the meeting. I should be going over there, but they keep saying, oh, we had a delay. I mean, yes, delays are part of the bureaucracy of the Foundation, what with containment breachers being so rapid that you must be able to adapt to scenarios. Dr. Sherman, what would happen if you taped up SCP-173 fully, then put it in a coffin, filled the coffin with cement, then closed the coffin, and put that coffin in another coffin, and put the key in cement? Well, the problem you're dealing with is the offal that SCP-173 produces. The 37 pounds of blood and shit that SCP-173 produces from its body every day, that would overwhelm the tape. It would overwhelm the cement in the coffins. It would eventually crack. And so no, 173 cannot just be encased in concrete in coffins and called contained. It will break out. Can an SCP be allowed to have their civilian friend with them so they won't cause the collapse of countries? Intern Zeta, what are you talking about? We don't normally trade in containing non-anomalous civilians so that they can be besties with their SCP who's in containment friend. That's not really how we roll. New to Earth, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a chili dog on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. Do you ever go to Comic-Con? So I have been to numerous conventions in the Southeast. I've been to MetroCon, MegaCon, DragonCon, Holiday Matsuri, AFO, Anime Fest Orlando. There was a ShadowCon for a while. That was a bit of a whole thing. There's been a lot of conventions in that area, but I've not gone to, say, San Diego Comic-Con. But I do enjoy conventions, and where I can get to a convention, especially meet fellow SCP Foundation enjoyers, I would enjoy doing so. In fact, the longer that the Site-42 project grows, perhaps I will be able to visit SDCC one of these days. What is the policy for Foundation staff attending cons? The same as attending any other gathering in public, which is don't breach secrecy. Go to the convention and have fun and do what you're going to do for your socializing. And don't cause a problem. What if SCP-96 looked away from SCP-173, who has its eyes shut in cement? What the hell are you talking about? SCP-173 doesn't have eyes. It's a statue. Let alone closing its eyes in cement. What does that even mean? Furthermore, we already know what happens when 096 and 173 are in the same room. Again, 173 doesn't have eyes, which means that it cannot look at 096's face, so it cannot be attacked by 096. Therefore, 096, who is not cognizant enough to keep an eye on 173, just keeps getting snapped again and again, but the snaps are not enough to kill 096, so it's just boring. Oh, so cosplaying as an SCP or employee of the Foundation would break the masquerade. Amber, not necessarily. You see, our disinformation campaigns showing that the wiki is in fact just a creative fiction site does allow for cosplay of SCP entities and staff in a safe for the veil manner. XL Official Games. If you followed the link to Desk's X account, then you should also be on the post that has the rules and the email. Did you follow the link? Did you find the Site 42 Fan Art Friday rules post? You're wrong. SCP-2510-CN Metanormalcy / True God is the most powerful SCP, or SCP-3812. Well, Intern Jay Lee, I hate to burst your bubble. I don't know who you're talking to, since that's not what I was discussing, at least. But the most powerful SCP is SCP-6101. Its description literally says it is the strongest SCP. I don't know what else you want from me. It's right there on the database, clear as day. Terragal, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as refreshing your membership. Make sure to grab yourself some Tapatio Doritos on your way past the commissary. We need amnestics for the entire downtown part of New York City. I may have gotten drunk on some anomalous fluid and turned into my dragon form. You... Alright. Alright, I guess we'll just get the fucking planes. And the chemtrail amnestics will be released. Don't do it again. What if you write something about Morse code on SCP-682's body to disappear it? Interesting. Thank fuck for the mimetic shielding that protects us from being taken as long as we are currently streaming. But I do believe we tested those two anomalies together. Let me check 682's termination log. I am fairly certain we did something with that. Now, before I find the actual thing here, because I haven't found it yet, I do want to point out, placing my bet, I'm going to bet that SCP-682 jettisons the piece of its body that has the description on it. Therefore, 2521 only takes the part that has the writing on it. That's my bet. And Ravehaven is agreeing with me in the chat saying we did this test. The thing took its skin. That's probably it. Item number 2521. Tissue test record taken without incident. Termination test record. SCP-682 was restrained in chamber 145-B, and the laser was introduced. Laser began cutting into SCP-682's back. Command room emergency shutter was closed. 682 asks, "What are you doing?" Laser begins carving info-hazardous data onto SCP-682's hide. SCP-682 emits a loud roar. The command room emergency shutter closes. The laser finishes cutting. The entity manifests. 682 breaks restraints. The entity latches onto 682. 682 begins vocalizing. The entity demanifests, taking with it only the section of 682's skin which was carved with info-hazardous data. Test aborted. So yeah, I was basically right. Basically right. Go me, I knew what was coming. Man, nothing better than being right. Love that for me. That's why they pay me the mediocre bucks. Java name. Thank you for gifting 5 Site42 memberships to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. If you got those memberships, make sure to thank Java name for their generosity. And hey, give Java name some props in the chat regardless. The ranks of the green names grow, so that the battle of the white names may finally be won. Dr. Sherman, the tree is not screaming, but the tree is a multiversal constant, SCP-9808. 9808, what do you mean multiversal constant? You are scaring me. While I look that up, Ember Collective and Victor, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. You said 9808. What does that mean? Remote access database. Oh, this is a long boy. Oh, we're doing a user handle trick. Love that. Dun, 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 dun. Anomalous. Quercus alba, or white oak. Hey! SCP-4521 is a Douglas fir. A white oak? Are you kidding me? No. Not the same tree. Not the same scream. Doesn't count. Rave Haven, you're saying you sent a Ko-Fi. Well, thank you for alerting me. I didn't see the notification. Rave Haven, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Also, thank you for distracting me with your very silly profile picture on Ko-Fi. I was not expecting that. That's very funny. Good work. Furthermore, grab yourself a slice of cherry pie on your way past the commissary. Question, if I were to add Dr. Sherman to SCP United, would you be willing to voice them? I'm considering at the moment, it'll be down the line, however. Well, yes, I'm always happy to help out with SCP projects. Voice acting is in my skill set, especially for the Dr. Sherman character. I am happy to provide the realism of myself to that role. And so, yes, let me know how progress goes, and when it comes down to it, we will talk shop. Wait, what? I have a membership? Thank you to whoever did it. Congratulations, Zombie Cat. Looks like you got a gifted memberships. Possibly from Java Name's Onslaught earlier. Yup, Java Name gifted 5 memberships, and you were the first one to get one of them, Zombie Cat. So congratulations on your luck, and thank Java Name for their generosity. You already did because, of course, you are a conscientious staff member. We appreciate you. Dr. Sherman, what SCP will you say is the weirdest out of the SCP Foundation? Well, Intern Miller, if I'm going to... I mean, the SCP Foundation is literally bent on containing the weird. Every anomaly we contain is weird in some way, so the weirdest... The weirdest of today, I'm going to say, is SCP-3307, codename Cornucopy Ass. In SCP-3307, one of our Foundation agents is abducted by aliens and given a, quote, gift. That gift is the ability to spawn food infinitely from his bodily orifices. And so if you think of a Snickers bar, your favorite food, it will come out of his nose. If you want some soda pop, it will come from the place on a man's body where fluid is dispensed. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's weird. That is the weird one of the day. The answer will change every time you ask such a question because there's so many weird things. I have a weird question about that, and I'm too scared to ask. I severely doubt you want the answer. I severely doubt it. Dr. Sherman, do tell, what exactly is the deal with 053 and 682's anomalous friendship? Is it explained or just something that happened? SCP-953, I do not know that I have an answer for you. When testing 682 with the child who literally everybody who wants to interact with it ends up trying to kill it, it was the only human that 682 didn't want to kill. It seems thematically ironic. There's that. But if you look in the SCP-053, so anytime you go to the SCP database, you can go to a series page. This is the Series 1 page. It has the listing of every number as well as every title of SCP on the database. Every series page over here leads to a different series. So here's our Series 1. But every series page has the Tales Edition. And the Tales Edition gives you a listing of every tale related to the SCP you're questioning about. So if I go to 53 down here, then you have the tales Parenthood, The Pale Horse, The Wayward Children, Don't Get Used to It, Lizzie the Big Weird Dog, and Those Who Lived On. These are all tales about that entity. And I'm going to tell you, probably Lizzie the Big Weird Dog will tell you more about the story between 053 and 682. So that's where I would begin my investigation, were I you. Dr. Frogman, what the fuck is PEMDAS? Nikki Knackle, PEMDAS, all caps, not just capital P, is the order of operations for performing mathematics. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. You always do math problems in PEMDAS order. And so you look at a formula and, oh, yes, Frogman is also explaining it. And good for me, I was right. Did you not expect me to know what PEMDAS was? I am the site director here. Do you think I don't have a little qualifications? Dr. Sherman, like in the SCP Foundation universe, is in the Serpent Hand the most good guys? Why would you think that? They're an isolationist cult that live in the Library of All Knowledge, and they are fine with anomalies running around screwing up people's day. No. It is better for us to contain them first and foremost. Easy. Mr. Nice Guy, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Wilson's Wildlife Solutions is obviously the good guys. Well, they are gooder guys than the Serpent's Hand, I'll give you that. I majored in psychology, you majored in theater. I'm surprised we can keep money straight. Oh, my word. Amber, you're right through the heart. Right through the heart. Thank you for that. I totally needed that in this moment. Hey, Dr. Sherman, are there any good guys? Well, yes, Intern Dynamite. Us, the Foundation. We're the good guys. We contain anomalies so that the rest of the general public can live their normal lives, ignorant of the danger they are constantly in. I think that's pretty good of us. Wouldn't you agree? To be fair, voice actors get paid a lot. Well, Ravehaven, let's not do generalizations. Depending on the role and the company and the prestige, payment for voice actors is a certain black hole sometimes. It's a rough spot to be in. You've seen some pretty big lawsuits and union problems out there with all of the performing arts, to be fair. The Shark Punching Center are the goo guys. Well, yes, if they punch a shark hard enough, it does turn into a pile of goo. So I agree, Dr. Frogman, that the Shark Punching Center are goo guys. Dr. Sherman, they are advocating for anomalies' rights and against dangerous ones. Isn't that a good thing compared to how gruesome the Foundation is, or Marshall Carter Dark? Gruesome? Gruesome? Are you kidding me? I disrespect your remark entirely. We are doing what we can against impossible odds to protect the public. Yes, we have to do some bad things sometimes, but that's part of playing the game. I look forward to your Pollyanna universe in the multiverse where you don't have to get your hands dirty. The Foundation is doing our best in a bad situation, and we're doing a damn fine job of it, thank you. What is the coolest SCP in the SCP Foundation? Well, off the top of my head, the dead bodies that make up the majority of the mass of Mount Everest are probably quite cold. So I would assume those might be the coldest. But if there's some sort of temperature anomaly that's some infinitely low temperature, that would be the coolest one. Dr. Sherman, what are you doing about the new 6-7 anomaly? There is no new 6-7 anomaly. SCP-067, as it has been for years and years now, is a fountain pen that, when held, takes over your arm and either makes you draw a beautiful piece of art or makes you write your life story biography, even stuff you don't remember. That's how good this pen is at its job. All of this mimetic stuff about the 6-7 kid and all that, that is off-site detritus that we on the database don't worry about. After all, the internet thought Siren Head was an SCP for a while. The internet is wrong and we don't worry about them. What did I just walk into? Intern Puppycorn, I've seen you here before. You know that we are the SCP Foundation, and this is my office hours as Site Director of Site-42, answering your queries about the SCP Foundation. I don't think we were talking about anything in particularly disturbing at that moment, unless the brain rot of people thinking SCP, or thinking horror things online are SCPs outright just because they haven't paid attention is horrifying, in which case, yes, that would be horrifying. I do agree with that. I may have discovered an anomaly. How would I report to the Foundation? Well, if you went to your site director and told them you had discovered a new anomaly, they would be very interested in containing such. But if you're talking about adding something to the database, then you need to go to the homepage of the SCP Wiki, and in the top bar, or the sidebar on the left corner, you would find the Guide for Beginners, and that has all the information for joining the database and writing your own SCP. Dr. Sherman's hair is red for the blood of the war orphans. Hey! Hey! Ravehaven. Hey! To my knowledge, the stylists at the hair salon on Site-42 are not using Warfin blood in the hair dye anymore. Okay? What's a Warfins? Well, in the SCP-018-J tests, we use D-class that are orphans of war orphans, or colloquially known as Warfins. What are you looking at when you look away? A screen. A screen where I keep the database entries so I can reference them, as well as the chat. Do not kill the damn war orphans. Let them go. Hey, Warfins. And we don't kill them often. SCP-018-J is just a trench coat that, when worn by a group of children, causes people to perceive them as one adult human male. Well, adult human. I don't remember if they're seen as an adult man or adult woman. But we one time put 50 Warfins in the trench coat and things got a little bananas. Read the 018-J document. It's a good time. Evakelv asks, what is your favorite SCP? Well, I'll tell you this, we are currently 20 minutes from the end of stream, and at the end of stream, I traditionally tell you my favorite SCPs. If you want to cheat, you can either donate and ask, and I'll just do it immediately, or you can go to yesterday's stream, VOD, and there, at the end, I say so you can cheat that way too. Otherwise, you can wait 20 minutes for the end of stream. Ravehaven, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a chicken pot pie on your way past the commissary. What do you mean, anymore? Well, you have to consider that some of the thaumaturgical research we've done in the uses of blood in magical specs has come from as early history as Elizabeth Bathory. So, we deal with the different anomalies regarding blood and its uses as we may, and for a time, they thought that it gave the hair dye a staying power. It turned out that was not the case. I saw the movie on the 5th. I may be biased because FNAF got me into horror, but I think this was even better than the first movie. Well, Triple S, I agree that FNAF 2 is a better movie than FNAF 1. I'm not going to argue with you on that. And, you know, FNAF is a fun little fandom. The story's quite convoluted, but it provides endless entertainment of trying to untangle the terrible sweater of facts. Dr. Sherman, how about SCP-5000 or the Admonition series or Fire Suppression Department? They'll sacrifice many things for the normalcy, which doesn't exist because anomalies have existence for many millennia. Intern Tenzums. No, you're not an intern, you're a researcher. Tenzums. Do you agree that sometimes bad things must be done for the greater good? Do you have an answer for that? Because yes, sometimes we have to do bad things, but if we didn't do them, things would get much, much worse. Hi, Dr. Sherman, I need to requisition 300 D class. I need them for a test. Researcher Kitten, why would you need that many D class? And are you asking for adults or warfins? Because we have a lot more warfins these days, so the supply is pretty strong. That's how it got me into horror. The mystery and intrigue outweighed the fear. I couldn't even be in the living room while a horror movie trailer was on TV before FNAF. Well, it's interesting because just like any other experience, going through it kind of gets you used to the water that you're sitting in, so to speak. And so once you start getting into horror, I mean, I had a group of friends who watched every horror movie we could get our hands on in high school. And that desensitized me to the point where if I go to a haunted scare attraction, such as Halloween Horror Nights or Howlow Scream, the haunted houses have no effect on me. I am basically jump scare proof. Part of working in the haunted houses for 7 years at Howlow Scream myself. And so once you immerse yourself in the horrors, then you stay unblinking. It's a good thing to inoculate yourself against such things. Given that the Afton family and the concept of Remnant are from the FNAF universe, how might the official SCP Foundation not fanon articles like 3876 classify and contain William Afton? Well, first of all, I'm curious as to what you're talking about with 3876? 3876 documentation. I'm wondering what 3876 is. Of course, I would have to type properly for that. 3876 Tussie Mussy is the code name. An ornate silver-plated bouquet holder, conical, 18 centimeters in length, 7 meters across the opened end. Roughly midpoint is this fine silver chain. Terminates in a silver pin, which can be inserted into a small hole near the end, securing a bouquet within. Through anomalous means, 3876 spontaneously manifest bouquets. Varying composition, at least 3 different floral components. What does this have to do with William Afton or Remnant at all? I knew I recognized this article. Oh my word. Oh my word. So I looked at the discussion page to see an explanation of the article so I could answer your question. And thanks to the Sherm from Site42 for initial feedback. I critiqued this article 7 years ago. I thought I recognized this. SCP-3876 is a floral bouquet with floral arrangement lore. And on our early Site42 show, Researcher's Notes, I believe it was called. No, it was Site42 Critique Lab. I used to bring people's prospective SCPs on and critique them live. And give notes, and then the chat would give notes, and then we would, the author would go back and do rewrites. And so, wow, this is, in fact, one that I have, seen a long time ago. What a blast from the past. But it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, so I'm confused, Xeno Guy, at what you mean. I'm trying to find Xeno Guy to see if I can get an elaboration real quick before I move on from the question. I mean, whether or not there's an article involved, the William Afton entity, the good thing is that Afton, even in its suit, is still bound by a physical shell. So we lock that suit in a room, it stays put. We would just need probably heavier doors for how hard it could hit. But it is not particularly that difficult to contain. That is, of course, until the FNAF lore changes yet again. I think Dr. Sherman should look into SCPs 8675 and 309. Is that what you think, Ravehaven? Do you think I should ask Intern Jenny about it? I've got Intern Jenny's number right here. I could call Intern Jenny and find out. What's your thoughts on the SCP Containment Breach movie, both in and out of character? Well, Intern Smart Guy, the answer to both is the same, which is I enjoyed what they're doing. In fact, I like the way it kind of looks a little corny with the color scheme and the color correction, because the game is a silly horror game, and so it shouldn't be as realistic as, say, There Is No Anti-Memetics Division or the SCP-2316 film by Andrea Joshua Asnikar. I like the fact that it looks a little manufactured. I think it lends to the flavor of what they're doing. In fact, furthermore, I saw the trailer for Iron Lung, Markiplier's film. And I gotta be honest, some of the sets in that film look very set designy as well, similar to how In Space with Markiplier looked. It didn't look like they created a factual submersible. They created something that kind of looks like a set. And I'm wondering how that's going to play to the heightened tone of the scenario. I'm interested, and I like them. Filmic language struggles when it's forcing everything to be hyper-realistic. Sometimes you've got to elevate things for funsies. What's your thoughts on SCP-001, the Gate Guardian? Intern Avi, stay away from it. It's dangerous. That's my thoughts. You look like my teacher, not gonna lie, bro. Well, Intern Glitchy, I'm sorry to say you have a very handsome teacher. Don't get involved. It's against protocol. The SCP Foundation is 18 years old. We started on June 22nd, 2007, I think. I believe you've got the dates correct there. Wikipedia's entry on SCP does have the date of 173's publication for that. The current site was created July 19th, 2008. And, June 2007 is the listing on Wikipedia. I think you're right about the 22nd. How would a matchup of SCP-999 versus the Scarlet King go? Well, Chester Factory, we will have to find out one day. There are a lot of staff members that think that SCP-999 is some child of the Scarlet King that'll grow up to be strong enough to mollify it with its abilities. But we do know in the database from the multiverse that in the universe where the Scarlet King nearly destroyed all of reality, it was 7 anomalous people or entities and the 7 spears that finally did save the universe, the multiverse, from the Scarlet King. But 999 was not among the ranks in that database entry. So at least in the timeline that we've seen it be defeated, 999 wasn't involved. But that doesn't mean it couldn't be another multiversal chain somewhere down the line. Intern Glitch Trap. For a time check, we are currently 6 minutes from the end of stream. 6 minutes from the end of stream. So get your questions out there. What is the Scarlet King? Intern Custer. I have a video on this channel called Scarlet King Declassified. Now, it is a couple of years old. There is new information on the database after that video is made. And so you are certainly able to check the database for further updates after you see that video. But on the database itself, and what you would do to look more into it is you would go to the hub page for the group of interest, the Children of the Scarlet King. There is a section about the Scarlet King in general that has multiple hypotheses on what it is. A primordial being for whom existence causes great pain. SCP-2317-K. A mortal king infected by an unknown rot he had attempted to study. An egregore, retroactively brought into existence during the Satanic Panic. A denizen of Alagata, intimately tied to the fundamentals of alchemy. And several other hypotheses. So go to the Group of Interest Hub for the Children of the Scarlet King, and you can go through a lot of research there. Sheeny, thank you for your 7-month member message as a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site 42. And also, just good to see you. It's been a bit. I hope you're doing well out there. Make sure to grab yourself a cold one on your way past the commissary. I live at work right now, but glad to actually catch you live, even if it's for 6 minutes. Hey, good to see you for a little bit. As I said, I hope you're doing well out there. What are your thoughts on SCP-343? Intern Avi, SCP-343 is a reality bender with delusions of godhood. It is not the capital G God. Don't believe its lies. Dr. Sherman, what is the most chill SCP in the SCP Foundation? Well, Intern Miller, that would probably be the gayest man alive. That's its code name, the gayest man alive. Its odd item number is SCP-230. The gayest man alive sweats a chemical substance mostly similar to heroin, and so is always high as a kite, and therefore is always having a groovy time. This is gay in the happy sense, obviously. I also agree with Amber. You could say that Jeff, SCP-008-J, is pretty damn chill. Dr. Sherman, I have a theory on SCP-4521. What if its screams aren't human screams, but the screams of an animal such as a squirrel? It doesn't scream animal or human screams. It screams tree screams. You do know that trees scream, right? You do know that every plant, flower, blade of grass, when harmed, they scream? Because this is the only tree that doesn't scream. That's what makes it anomalous. Dog Boy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as grabbing yourself some couscous on your way past the commissary. Hello, also there's a, hello to you. Also, there's a book in my room with weird symbols on the pages. I touched one of them and felt a jolt of electricity through me. No more to note. Did you feel a jolt of electricity, or did something happen that felt like a jolt of electricity? Do you have powers now? You should get to medical. You probably need to have some tests run. Dr. Sherman, pardon my pestering, but I am incredibly curious of your thoughts on SCP-3935 and if you've perused it or not yet. Well, off the top of my head, 3935 doesn't ring a bell as a designation, but I can take a quick peek up here and see what we find. Salvation High School, this thing a quiet madness made. Okay, this is familiar. Actually, I am familiar with this article not by reading it itself, although at a positive 924, it is a very popular article. But 3935, Davis Morgan. A YouTuber by the name of Davis Morgan, 8 months ago, dropped a 57-minute explainer about this SCP article, which I enjoyed greatly. This Davis Morgan character is an excellent researcher of SCP information. And so, as well as other creepypasta and online horror situations. So if you are an online horror enjoyer, as well as looking at breakdowns of SCPs, check out the Davis Morgan YouTube channel and tell him Dr. Sherman sent you. Intern Custer, the strongest SCP is SCP-6101. Its description literally states as its first sentence, SCP-6101 is the strongest SCP. So, nothing more to say. Northern Glacier Corporation, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some tacos on your way past the commissary. How about putting SCP-096 against SCP-049, the Plague Doctor? Anything he touches dies, right? Well, first of all, remember, any anomaly is treated as an object, not a person. That means the anomalies are not people, they are objects. That means they are its. Not he, not she, its. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Second of all, while I do hypothesize that 049 could probably cause 096 to cease all biological functions due to its anomalous touch, I believe that would cause us to be unable to study either anomaly, so I would not approve of that decommissioning. I'm not Dr. Dan, okay? We keep anomalies alive. I don't care how dangerous it is. We have research to do. Man up, Dr. Dan. Dr. Sherman, any wholesome articles to recommend? Wholesome articles. Today, for wholesome articles, I'm going to grant you SCP-5094, codename Miss J. Or I think it's actually codename Miss J's WizKid Schoolhouse or something like that. But I'll double check. 5094, Miss J's WizKid Schoolhouse. 5094 is a sentient children's teaching app, and it is very wholesome. Please enjoy. Maya, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a Kool-Aid on your way past the commissary. Do you recognize the bodies in the water? Well, I don't, because I am better than that. As well, my containment hazard assessment team is obviously competent enough to not recognize the bodies. But if you wanted to do some research on the bodies, I would highly recommend watching SCP-2316 short film, I Do Not Recognize the Bodies in the Water, by friend of the channel, Andrea Joshua Asnikar. A live action, I think it's a 30 to 45 minute SCP short film about that anomaly, as well as several others. All right, Site42 staff, that brings us to the end of today's stream. And as always, at the end of today's stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. But of course, I'm not going to tell you guys that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. That would be sheer narcissism. I wouldn't do that to you guys. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP Wiki. It is located in the chat pinned link, our support link, beacons.ai/Site42. There, at my author page, you can find the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're there, there's this tab that has some links on it. Links people are often very interested in finding, but they're just not smart enough to find. It's a real shame. The people who are smart enough to find them, they're so much smarter, so much better. That's you guys. Mobile Task Force Site42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. While you're at those links, you can become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You could do Ko-Fi donations or YouTube Super Chats if you want to donate to us one at a time. And either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help us out, so we appreciate you greatly helping us keep the lights on here at Site42. And if you're part of the Broke Gang, don't worry about it. We are a arts community, and starving artists are a common trope for a reason. So if you're part of the broke gang, you can't donate directly, you are still an honored and valued member of Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codename Signal Boosters. When you guys like, share, subscribe to our videos and chats and streams, and also to the chats and streams and videos and short films and games that we signal boost here at Site42, you are helping us to grow the SCP community, and we are very thankful for your intrepid service. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCP in no particular order would be SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980. Content warning on the last one. I got a couple last-minute donations here. Northern Glacier Corporation, thank you for donating twice to ask the same question. Don't worry, I wasn't going to miss it. I would have got to it. How would the SCP Foundation deal with Playtime Co.? First of all, quarantine the building. Don't let anyone in. The anomalies don't come out, so it's fine. Just lock it down. Security, don't let anyone go wandering inside. And then, of course, we'd have exploration logs with mobile task forces trying to figure out what the hell's going on in there. So, Site-42 staff, this has been Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site-42. In another After Hours with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast of Site-42. The daily streak remains strong. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you all in the next video or stream. Dr. Frogman, if Desk is going to be live, it's going to be much later. Desk has an engagement that he is involved with at the moment. I'm waking up at the start of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before. Now I wonder what my life is gonna mean if it's gone. The cars are moving like a half a mile an hour, and I started staring at the passengers waving goodbye. Can you tell me what was ever really special about me all this time? But I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. The credit song is How Far We've Come by Matchbox 20. Be safe, be well, Site-42 staff. Secure, contain, protect.